Welcome to InfoTalks. Among the 5 groups of microservices design patterns, today let's look at the integration patterns. Before we further deep dive, I would request you to please go through MSA Design Pattern Part 1 prior to this presentation. Just in case you have not looked at it, I have explained what is design pattern and also provided a quick overview of all the 5 groups of microservices design patterns in that presentation. Okay, coming back to integration patterns. It includes 7 design patterns: aggregator pattern, API gateway, gateway routing, proxy, chained microservices, branch, and client-side UI composition pattern. For other sets of design patterns such as decomposition, database, cross-cutting concerns, and observability patterns, the videos are divided into 5 parts to cover each group separately. So integration design patterns are for defining the connections and relations between services. The problem or question that integration patterns solve is, how can all the services interact with each other? What are all the things that we need to take care of while calling one service from the other? What are the best practices to interface different services? So let's get started, and the first one to look at is aggregator pattern. Aggregator waits for all the services to respond, so it's a composite service. Aggregator can massage and combine the data from different services when it sends the response to its consumer service. As per this example, the consumer could be any client, such as a web page or a mobile app or even some other consumer microservice. The request and response mechanism are asynchronous. So aggregator can handle multiple requests and it keeps track of its responses by using a unique ID. And it resyncs the parallel calls before responding back to the clients or consumer service. For example, aggregator receives a request from a web page. So it creates a unique ID as shown in this table. This helps and enables parallel processing, as now aggregator does not have to wait to finish the processing of the request R1. And aggregator can receive multiple requests at the same time. It will just keep creating unique IDs to correlate the responses back to the requests once all the services are done with the processing. In this design pattern, we address isolation, scalability principles of microservices. On a side note, in all my diagrams, the direction of the arrow is pointing to the service being called. The response back to the caller is assumed. The next is API gateway. This pattern can help to decide to go to a particular service, unlike aggregator that goes to all the services to complete the response. API gateway is an entry point for the client request and routes the requests to a particular service for a particular purpose. We can add the aggregation logic to the API gateway if we need to combine any responses for a particular call from the client. Direct calls from consumer services without API gateway are possible, but this pattern supports isolation and adds a layer of abstraction. So this is API gateway. Now a slight variation. When we implement a routing map of the URLs to be reached out, where it maps with the physical URL of downstream services which can be changed without any impact to the client, then this pattern is called gateway routing. With these patterns, we address isolation and scalability principles of MSA. Also, it helps to abstract the implementation to the client. Proxy pattern is another variation of aggregator and API gateway. Here, the focus is inbound and outbound interactions. So we are talking traffic from or to the internet. The proxy service can have business logic, or it could just be a simple pass-through service. The URL is soft-coded, and the client has no visibility of underlying services. Proxy ensures optimizing the call flow. To recap, we have seen composite service, the aggregator, that waits for all the services to respond. Then API gateway, that provides interface with the services and help routing the calls to the desired services. And proxy pattern, to handle traffic with outside clients over the internet. Now let's look at the services that can be linked with each other within our network. We might want to handle an execution that is cascading through different services, but needs the attributes from the previous service, meaning a call goes from service 1 to service 2 to service 3, and then the response from service 3 comes to service 2 and then to service 1. This is called chained or chain of responsibility. This is required when we need to execute a sequential set of actions. This is one more way to decompose code or logic and make our services smaller. But in this case, the call will be synchronous. The branch pattern is nothing but the call to the service can be decision based and not sequential. This is very usual pattern implementation that almost all of us might have seen. In these patterns, we address isolation, a smaller service principle of microservice architecture. The next pattern is the client-side UI composition. In microservices, the focus is always at the service level, which is the backend. This pattern helps to achieve the same for frontend, meaning break down the UI into different components that will interact with microservices is called UI composition services. These UI composition services will act as aggregators for providing inputs to each UI component separately. The implementation of each UI component can be performed by different teams. These are called micro frontends. Here, we are achieving isolation at the front-end level. This covers integration patterns, and I hope I am able to clear the concept of integration patterns. For more videos on remaining design patterns, DevOps, Cloud, please visit infonestra.com. Lastly, if you find this video useful, then please subscribe for notifications. Thanks and see you soon.